1991 Upper Deck Baseball Cards, 10 Most Popular. If you like consistency in your hobby experience, then 1991 Upper Deck Baseball Cards were right up your alley. Not only did Upper Deck's third issue present the same basic clean white motif with stunning photos on both card fronts and backs as the 1989 and 90 sets, but it completed a theme. Namely, with the 1991 issue, Upper Deck came all the way home. The 1989 design featured the first baseline, and 1990 cards had the path from first to second covered, and the 1991s rounded third and raced in for the score. And while time has revealed that these dandies were just about as overproduced as all the other 1991 cards, that consistency and high-quality presentation, along with a strong crop of rookie cards, has kept collectors' interest simmering along. Here, then, are the 10 most popular 1991 Upper Deck baseball cards, as ranked by the number of cards submitted to PSA for grading over the years, according to their population report. Let's play ball. 1991 Upper Deck, Chipper Jones, number 55. This was the era when the rookie card mania of the 1980s met the massive hype and proliferation of cards and card sets of the 1990s to ensure that every player had at least a few hundred different rookie cards. Hyperbole alert, and as early as possible. So even though Chipper wouldn't make his major league debut until 1993, and even though he wasn't actually a rookie until 1995, he landed on a top prospect card here in 1991. He really was a top prospect, though, and this card has been popular for 3 decades and counting. That amazing career Jones put together with the Braves, along with a spot in Cooperstown, didn't hurt this card's swagger either. 1991 Upper Deck, Jeff Bagwell, number 755. Bagwell, on the other hand, landed his Upper Deck rookie card just in the nick of time. After a trade deadline swap that sent him from the Boston Red Sox to the Houston Astros for Larry Anderson in 1990, Bag settled in at first base to open up the 1991 season. He didn't look back until he was in the Hall of Fame, right there beside fellow Killer Bee, Craig Biggio. Probably even more than the Jones card, this Bagwell rookie found an immediate home with collectors. Driven by Baggy's Rookie of the Year award in 1991 and his persistent appearance on the MVP ballots, he won in 1994. 1991 Upper Deck, Mike Mussina, number 65. Like Jones, Mussina got the prospect treatment in the set, but he made his debut later in that same summer of 1991. By the next spring, Moose was ensconced in the Orioles' rotation, and he would develop into one of the most consistently excellent pitchers in the game over the next 2 decades. Mussina's profile and that of his cards got a boost when he moved to the Yankees in 2001 and helped them capture 2 American League pennants, 2001 and 2003. Though Moose never won a World Series, he did win a Cooperstown plaque in 2019, which always does good things for a fellow's cards. 1991 Upper Deck, Luis Gonzalez, number 567. It's sort of ironic that Gonzalez shows up as a first baseman for the Astros here on his Upper Deck rookie card, given that Bagwell is similarly designated. Bags, of course, ultimately won the competition at first, with Gonzalez lighting into left field. Gonzo was solid but unspectacular throughout his Houston tenure, and then in stops with the Cubs and the Tigers. But a 1999 trade sent him from Detroit to the Arizona Diamondbacks and changed the complexion of his career. In 8 seasons in the desert, Gonzalez smacked 224 home runs, hit .298, and became a bona fide star in his early 30s. That run included a gaudy 57 home runs in 2001, the same year his walk-off single in the bottom of the 9th of Game 7 off of Mariano Rivera drove in Jay Bell to give the Snakes their first World Series title ever. Stuff like that tends to make a guy's rookie card sort of popular. Forever. 1991 Upper Deck, Frank Thomas, number 246. Since Thomas had a handful of rookie cards in various 1990 sets, but not Upper Deck, this one technically qualifies as a first Upper Deck card, and not really a rookie card. Collectors of the day, though, treated this one pretty much on par with the Bagwell rookie, as both players heated up that summer. Thomas had already exhausted his rookie status in 1990, but his 32 home runs, 109 RBI, .318 batting average, and 1.006 OPS in 1991 lit up the game and the hobby. The Big Hurt crashed hobby hot lists right off the bat, and he remained a popular figure all throughout his 19-year Hall of Fame career and beyond. 1991 Upper Deck, Mark McGwire, number 174. Big Mac would hit the first bump in his career road the summer this card was issued, bottoming out with a .201 batting average and just 22 home runs. He would rebound to a large extent in 1992 before injuries and the strike limited him to 178 games from 1993 through 1995. Of course, it all turned around in 1996 when he topped 50 home runs for the first time, and then came the historic homer barrage of the late 1990s. That rocketed his cards to the top of the hobby, and though the steroid scandal that followed dinged his reputation significantly, McGwire maintains a strong collector base even today. 1991 Upper Deck, Ken Griffey Jr., number 555. Jr. was already one of the most exciting players of the game in 1991, but he didn't really explode until he found his power stroke in 1993. Still, this card was a popular buy right out of the pack, as it continued the run of great Griffey Upper Deck cards that began with number 1 in the 1989 set and continued with a Smiling Kid in 1990. Today, there are few more popular retired players in the hobby and among fans in general than Griffey. 1991 Upper Deck, Nolan Ryan, number 345. Anyone who saw Nolan Ryan's move to the Texas Rangers before the 1989 season as a nice, quiet way to wind down his long career got a loud wake-up call right off the bat. A 300 strikeout season at age 42 grabbed us all by the throat and shouted that Ryan wasn't close to being done. And then no-hitters in both 1990 and 1991, among his continued K dominance, stomped home the point. By the time 1991 Upper Deck debuted, Ryan's rookie was lighting the hobby on fire, and all his cards have continued to sit at the top of the collecting world for 3 decades running. 1991 Upper Deck, Bernie Williams, number 11. Though he predated the vaunted core 4 of Derek Jeter, Mariano Rivera, Jorge Posada, and Andy Pettitte, Bernie Williams was a key contributor to the Yankees dynasty of the late 1990s and 2000s. Williams was a perennial 5-6 WAR guy, and it's hard to imagine the Yanks winning 4 World Series titles in 5 seasons without Bernie in center field. Though Williams was more consistently excellent than in-your-face amazing, he slowly built a strong hobby following, and his rookie card, this is a first for Upper Deck, in particular, remains popular today. 1991 Upper Deck, Cal Ripken Jr., number 347. After a few seasons of declining performance, by traditional statistical standards anyway, Ripken busted out with probably his greatest season ever in 1991, including a .323 batting average, 34 home runs, and 114 RBI. That was good enough to garner the Iron Man his second MVP award, 1983 being the other, and to elevate his hobby status to even higher levels than before. Suffice to say, collectors were happier than ever to pull Cal cards from packs that summer. As Ripken closed in on Lou Gehrig's record for consecutive games played over the next few seasons, he further cemented his legend status, and his cards are almost always among the most popular in whatever set he appears in. The 1991 Upper Deck issue is no exception. Like our video? Then like our video and subscribe to our channel. WaxPackGods.com